Jason Walker, and this is my big project presentation. My targeted audience for my project is the general public of the United States. I am choosing them as my target audience because the way I propose that we get working on the solution is to get the general public to write letters to their representatives, letting them know their concerns about the problems hydroelectric power is facing, and hopefully convince their representatives to allocate more funding to research and development of the energy. I am assuming they know very little about hydroelectric power, and I am also assuming that they at least know the basics of fossil fuels and the more popular forms of renewable energy, such as wind and solar power. An important source of alternative energy is hydropower, converting the flow of rivers and ocean waves and tides into electricity through dams and turbines. The best part about both of these water sources is that they're 100% renewable. How exactly does a dam generate electricity? The dam creates a large lake or reservoir of water. The river water then flows from the reservoir through the dam's penstock, which is a control gate or a pipe, into a turbine or a large water wheel. As the water pushes the turbine, the kinetic energy is transferred into a generator that converts it to electric energy. The Three Gorges Dam in China illustrates both the advantages and the disadvantages of using hydropower energy. The main advantages are that the dam provides China with huge amounts of renewable, clean energy with low monetary costs, other than the initial construction costs. Unfortunately, though, where the Three Gorges Dam was built, it flooded extensive watershed regions, drowned whole villages, and whose populations had to relocate above the reservoir water line. To contrast, run-of-the-river water systems capture kinetic energy from flowing rivers without causing dramatic ecosystem disruption. They use tiny turbines to capture the natural flow of water instead of creating a lake or causing flooding. These small systems sit under the surface of the water and have very little impact on the environment around them. To be able to construct a dam, install power production units, plus transformers, and to tether them to the main grid requires a large piece of land. This may call for the clearing of large chunks of forest to provide space for building the dam. Clearing of forest greatly impacts the natural ecosystems. Hydroelectric projects need very specific sites due to needing large empty space for water reservoirs, and most of these sites in the industrialized world have already been tapped into. In order to use more hydroelectric power, we need to implement more environmentally friendly and smaller generator plants. As this chart shows, the construction of water surface reservoirs has slowed considerably in recent years. In the middle of the 20th century, when urbanization was occurring at a rapid rate, many reservoirs were constructed to serve people's rising demand for water and power. Since about 1980, the rate of dam construction has slowed considerably. This is due to there being very little places to implement dams. This is a problem to the average person because, as we know, not all energy sources are renewable. Eventually, we will run out of fossil fuels, very soon in fact. The Central Intelligence Agency World Factbook predicts that as soon as 2088, we may be without fossil fuels at our current rate of use. When this happens, we will be forced to turn to renewable energy sources as our sole source of electricity. If we don't invest into research and development of cheap renewable energy, we will inevitably face an energy crisis of the likes the world has never seen before. Out of all popular renewable resources, hydroelectric is among one of the cheapest options. Aside from the cost of the creation of the plant, the upkeep cost is extremely low when compared to the amount of energy it brings in. In order for hydroelectric energy to be more sustainable and widely adopted, there needs to be more run-of-the-river hydroelectric plants in suitable areas. The term run-of-the-river usually refers to power that's generated from the force of water flowing from a high elevation to a lower one, using water's natural flow to spin turbines. Imagine you're a beaver, or a fish, or a tadpole, and you've made your cozy home in the same river ever since you were born. Now imagine a team of construction workers shows up and builds a huge concrete dam right in the middle of your home, leaving your once fresh water stale and stagnant. Kind of a bummer, right? Large dams, while they do produce renewable energy, can interfere with water quality and fish migration, as well as degrade the surrounding habitat. That's why run-of-the-water hydroelectric power, a technology that produces renewable energy without using dams to back water up, is in fact a better choice for the environment. The roadblock that run-of-the-river plants are facing is funding and initiative. Currently, there is little short-term gain from the creation of a plant on a business perspective. We need to start a development process that is comparable to wind and solar projects. The average cost of river power is 4 to 6 cents per kilowatt hour compared to 3 cents for larger reservoir-focused hydropower. Generally, run-of-river power is marginally more expensive than power from hydroelectric dams, but in remote areas it can be cheaper. This margin, the 1 to 3 cent margin we are giving up, is at the expense of severe ecological damage that is being prevented by not implementing dams. Like all renewable energy technologies, the vast majority of the costs of a run-of-the-river plant come at the outset during the building phase. On average, 35% of the total eventual price tag is from building the facility, and another third goes to building the transmission and distribution wires to hook the often remote plants up to the grid. The size of that slice of the pie can be substantially reduced if the plant is near a remote community it is meant to power, and the cables only need to travel a short distance. We find this out from www.energybc.ca. Another economic consideration is the impact of climate change. Even though run-of-the-river plants contribute little to climate change, they will not be immune from it. Climate change is leading to longer and more severe droughts. The most recent example being the extreme dry conditions of 2015. Thomas Peterson, director of the Pacific Institute for Climate Solutions, described 2015 as the new normal. This means that run-of-the-river projects will increasingly be starved of their water fuel in the late summer and early autumn months. The average person can help by sending mail or by calling their state or local representative and letting them know how they feel about hydroelectric power. Let them know how important the issue is to you, and let them know the possible long-term effects that could occur if we don't pursue our best interests.